08717 2233 Let's go to Liverpool and talk to Paul. Hello, Paul.
Hiya, Mike. Yeah, I was interested in what you're saying about the Labour Party.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what's the legacy of the last Labour government? And I come up with three things.
Right.
War, plenty of war. Mass immigration, plenty of mass immigration.
Yeah.
And fiddling, i.e. stealing taxpayers' money and wasting taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
So
I can't disagree with that, to be honest.
Well, that's the truth, isn't it? But what a legacy Ed Miliband had to pick up.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you see, Tony Blair killed the Labour Party. It's got no soul now. There's no principles in the Labour Party anymore. It's just opportunism. And they've ended up with someone like Ed Miliband because he's got no substance, that guy. He's a complete turn-off. He's just a geek, you know.
Well, that's the problem. He doesn't really have any kind of human aspects to him, does he? I mean, I'm sure he's a very intelligent guy. I'm sure that he would like to do things that would change society in the way that he would want to do them, but he has trouble communicating. And whenever I see him... Well, that's what I don't know. That's what I don't know. I mean,
the guy talks, he's just totally uninteresting. He's the sort of guy, as soon as you hear the first sentence, you switch over the TV or you switch off the radio. He just can't grab your attention. Right. He's got no star quality.
I mean, apparently one of the things that he actually said in his speech a few hours ago yesterday was that he was keen to give priority on the council housing lists to families who are actually working, right? Now, that is actually not a bad idea and something that an awful lot of ordinary people would probably support, but it's all been lost in this kind of miasma that he talks, and nobody really knows what any points were that he made.
Well, these are minutiae policies, but we all know the big sort of swathe of what Labour did to this country. I mean, they've left the country in a complete mess. They lost control of the public finances, and they were just throwing good money after bad. I mean, it come out last week that Gordon Brown and Ed Balls were told by the Treasury, if you keep spending money and wasting money, there's going to be a terrible price to pay in this country, and we're going to have to pay that price. They pushed that aside. They said, well, that's the legacy we're going to leave the Tories.
Yeah, and they said, I'm just
going
to write another cheque for 90 billion. They spent another 90 billion after they got that warning.
Yeah, but they didn't seem to care. What sort of mess? To be honest, the bottom line with the Labour Party is they're not patriotic people. They don't love this country. They don't really care for this country. The only people they care for are themselves, and that's why they're always fighting amongst themselves. It's always a struggle for power in the Labour Party because it's what they can get out of it. And if they're that cynical, how can the public warm to them? I mean, people can see through the public image.
But this is what I wonder, that since all of these stories have now started to come out about what went on between Tony Blair and Gordon Brown, which everybody was talking about in the news and everyone was denying in the Labour Party, saying, oh no, they get on fine, it's not like that at all. It now seems as though, certainly since about 2005, the most enormous internal battle was going on, manufactured by Gordon Brown and his acolytes, which included Ed Miliband, Ed Balls and Douglas Alexander, trying to get Tony Blair out, right? Now, at least Tony Blair was a Prime Minister, and you might laugh at me saying this, of some stature, right? You might not say substance, but he was a statesman, right? And when
he was capable of projecting himself, but
he
didn't stand for anything worthwhile.
Well, I mean, I think when he got in, he seemed to stand for a bit of renewal, a bit of kind of, something more modern than what we'd had with the Tories for the past 18 years.
It was all sweet talk, but there was no substance to it.
No, maybe not, but I mean, at least he had some stature, and right now what we've got left is all of these characters who were squabbling amongst themselves for really the best part of the last 6 years, and they haven't got anything to offer apart from an argument.
Well, I can't see anybody emerging from the Labour Party ranks.
Yeah.
To really pull that party forward. I actually think the Labour Party now, it's a dying brand. It's finished.
Yeah, well, I mean, I remember having these conversations in Scotland when the SNP won control of the Scottish Parliament for the first time, and I said up there that the Scottish Labour Party was in a lot of trouble and might not get power back in Scotland for a generation. I wonder whether they're going to have the same problem down in this country, in England as well, because they're having real problems communicating whatever it is that their message is, and I don't know who supports them anymore.
The only base they've got is in the northern England, in the municipalities and amongst the ethnic minorities, and they're their client, the client state they created. They fed public money to these people. But that money's run out now. They've ruined the economy, and it's that's going to be switched off. What we need in this country is not another left-wing party. We need something to the right of the Tories, because the middle ground's too crowded now. No one's got any fresh ideas, fresh vision. We need a patriotic party to stand up and say this is a way forward for Britain.
But there are these parties, but they never seem to get an awful lot of mega support. They get little pockets of support, but they don't really get
little pockets of support. But the problem is, and if you look at I've been reading the American papers on the internet, And everyone's talking about the double dip now in America and severe economic problems ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to make people really think what's the way forward. That's what pushes people out of the comfort zone when the economy goes pear-shaped, and we've got a rocky road ahead. So we're going to need some new ideas and new vision, and it's not coming from the Labour Party.
And some new personalities, to be honest, some people with a bit of charisma that you can actually believe in and say, well, actually, I quite like this guy. I may not like everything that he says, but I've got some reason to vote for him because he's got a vision and he's got some kind of ability to actually carry people with him to support that vision. At the moment, I don't see any of that.
The problem with New Labour is they kill debate in this country. Anyone who's questioning what they were doing, they were just sort of demonised, you know. They call them racist or they call them Europhobes. They wouldn't allow proper debate, open debate. I mean, if someone like Enoch Powell had been around in the last Labour government, he probably would have ended up in prison. I mean, it was a disgrace the way they shut down debate in this country, and they made a sort of a criminal offence to oppose the Labour Party.
Yeah.
And the Tories fell into line with that because the Tories didn't seriously attack the Labour agenda, you know, the cultural Marxism that they were pushing.
No, because they were too busy trying to find a middle ground because they thought they were unelectable if they were too right-wing. That was the problem.
But they were all just manipulating the electorate to get power. They were just they weren't putting forward a new vision. But we've got to start thinking in this country again. We've got to wake up and start thinking about what sort of future we want. And we've got to start asking some tough questions, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether TalkSport's a format for that, but they have to free up the debate and let people express themselves.
Well,
I mean, we're all sick of political correctness, aren't we?
Well, absolutely right. The debate certainly is as free as we can have it here on TalkSport. I can't think of anywhere better, Paul, in Liverpool. 08717 223344. We're talking about a great many things, not just the Brothers Grimm, as I call them, Ed and David Miliband. Here's a great idea from Jason on my Facebook page, who says, I think the Miliband and brothers should be made to fight to the death. I don't care who would win, just amuse me. And then he says, Ed Miliband has all the charisma and charm of a communion wafer.